friends! This past weekend, I road tripped up to Chicago with my friend Megan Duke up to BookCon. And while I was there, I had a great time. I got to meet Cassandra CLARE finally. I met Veronica Roth and I met Hannah Hart. And I figured I would just kind of tell you guys a few stories from that. We got in on Friday afternoon after driving for about 7.5 hours. Yay. Unfortunately, we were staying at the hotel that connects right to the convention center it was being held at, which was super convenient. So when we got there on Friday, we kind of scoped it out and figured out where we needed to be the next day. Because the way they were doing the signings, the autograph sessions, is that they had certain groups of authors that you could basically only pick one of them. I ended up having to choose between Cassandra CLARE, Victoria Aveyard, who I just put out a song based on her books, and Marissa Mayer, who I've met before but hasn't signed all of my books in her Lunar Chronicles series. And of course, I opted for Cassie CLARE because we have been internet best friends for a while now, and it was just time to finally make that a real life friendship. We kind of got our game plan together on Friday. And Friday evening, we went to just the hotel bar to have dinner. And I ended up having a couple of adult beverages that were a little stronger than I anticipated. As we were leaving the hotel bar, I was in a pretty good mood. And we're walking to the elevator, and I hear this voice behind me. And sometimes there's just voices that you're like, I immediately know who that is. And this voice belonged to Hannah Hart. And I had actually won a ticket to her meet and greet the next day, so I was going to get to meet her. But in my state of mind, I was like, you know, why meet her tomorrow when I can meet her now? So, because I am just a really socially capable person, I kind of like turned around and was like, Hannah. We kind of started talking and I was like, yeah, I'm super excited. I'm going to your meet and greet tomorrow because I won a ticket. And I was just like, everything's coming up Crowley. And probably talked a little bit longer than I should have, but she was super nice about it. And I did explain that I was a few margaritas in, so I figured she would be understanding of that. We said our goodbyes. I told her, you know, I would officially meet her tomorrow. And I went to bed before I could get myself into any more trouble. The way they're doing the signings is that the signing hall actually opened up at 8 so you could get wristbands to your particular signings that you wanted to go to. And we didn't know because we started hearing rumblings of people getting there at like 5 o'clock in the morning. And I was like, oh, I don't think I want to see 5 o'clock in the morning because that means I have to see like 4 o'clock in the morning, and no. We woke up a little bit after 5 and ended up arriving at the signing hall at 6:15, and there was already a pretty significant line, so that was a little stressful because it came to get like a specific group of authors' autographs and to meet them, and I was like, I'm gonna be so sad if I don't get to. But fortunately, I was able to get wristbands for Cassie's signing and for Veronica's, so I was happy. And Megan was able to get the signing she wanted to, so we were like, we are adulting really, really well. Things are going great. Happy people. Then the general kind of expo area opened up, and it was a lot of different booths by different publishers, and some authors had some booths as well. So that was fun to just kind of like walk around and see what was going on. And they were having like giving away ARCs at some booths, and there were signings for authors at others, but we had already stood in line for lots and lots of time and knew we were going to be standing in more lines. So I was like, I'm just going to reserve my line standing energy because I think I'm going to hit a capacity. I went ahead to Veronica's line, and the way they do it as well is that certain authors have like requirements for their signings. So a lot of them you had to buy a book. Veronica very specifically was only signing a teaser of her upcoming book for next January. And it was pretty specific. She was not going to be signing any of the Divergent books, and she was not going to be doing any pictures or anything. It was very specifically that. One of the things that I have as my goals is to get a lyric sheet signed for every author that I've written a song based on their books. I'm thinking, how can I do this. When I got up to her booth, I had a CD for her that had Pretend It's Home, which is my Divergent song. And side note, apparently a thing about myself I didn't know is when I meet somebody famous, I get like really meek and quiet. So I had to like tell myself to speak up, because at first I came up to her, I'm like, hi, I'm Beth Crowley and I write book-based songs. And I'm like, girl, volume up. So I explained to her that I write songs based on books and that Divergent was one of the first ones I did, and I gave her a CD and I said, I have this lyric sheet. I know you probably can't sign it. And she was like, oh, I'll sign it. And I was like, so I was really excited that she was nice enough to sign that for me. That is going in a frame up on my kind of music room wall. It was a good moment. And after her signing, I got to go to Cassie's panel that she was on that was talking about adaptations from books to film or screen. And she was very diplomatic about everything. She did a good job. I know that there are some, issues that she's had with the show. But it really sounds like she gets to be more involved with season 2, which is exciting. So it was really interesting to get to hear her talk about that. And immediately after that was her signing, and Megan and I were kind of towards the end of the line. So by the time we got up, it was just so great. She signed the copy of City of Bones that I used to write Warrior, and she signed my lyric sheet, and I got my sister a signed copy of Lady Midnight. And just Cassie couldn't have been any nicer and more gracious and supportive. And she was saying, like, I'll see what I can't do for Warrior, for Shadowhunter. I mean, she does not have to do that. And she's just so nice. And it really felt like everything kind of came full circle, because it really started with her, and it started with her support with Warrior, and she's been so great ever since. And so now we're best friends in real life. I'll work on the bracelets, Cassie, don't worry about it, just know that that's coming. And then directly from that, I went to Hannah Hart's meet and greet, and it was cool. The way she had it structured is it was a photo booth. So you would go and you would meet her, and then you'd pose for a picture, and you got a printout and you got a digital copy. When I got up there, she immediately recognized me. She was like, so how are you feeling today? And I was like, adult beverages make me brave. And she said, everything's coming up Crowley. And I was like, oh my God, she remembered my catchphrase. Wow. It was just kind of hilarious. I mean, it was a very appropriate way to meet her and then re-meet her, and it gave us a nice little bonding moment over tequila. Basically, after that point, we were thoroughly exhausted. We got to meet up with Christina Marie, who's a booktuber friend of mine, and I'll put the link to her channel below. We've been friends for a couple of years, and it was so great to see her. And then Megan and I just hung out and watched The Walking Dead on Netflix, and it was great. And now I'm back in Tennessee, and so I've decided book festivals are fun. This is the first of this kind of thing that I've ever done, and props to BookCon staff, because it was super well organized and just a really good event. And I think the next one I'm going to try and do is Y'all Fest in November in Charleston. So if any of you guys are going to Y'all Fest, please let me know in the comments, because I'd love to meet you guys. And that's the other thing, is just if you ever see me out in real life, please come up and say hi, because I love meeting you guys. It makes me feel so good, and I get to put beautiful faces to your beautiful names, and I just love it. So please come talk to me. But yeah, overall it was a great experience. Hopefully we'll get to go back next year. It was a dream come true to meet Cassie and Veronica and Hannah. Really played that one smoothly. And that's all I have for this video. Somebody had asked me to kind of talk about my experience at BookCon, and that's kind of the short version, was that it was great and I had a good time, and book things are fun. So I will see you next time.